The real victims in this are the Palestinians.
No, the real victims. No, the real victims.
Hamas is
Hamas are the ones who are subverting.
Hi,
I will answer your question.
Let me ask you a question.
Who supports Hamas? Yeah, Iran. Yeah, Hamas, Russia.
Why?
Why? Because they are the same Muslims. Why? You know that after Gaza wars, Iran fight Israel fight who? Who sends the drone and the rockets to the Israel military base last month? Who? Iran, right? Iran, right?
Iran supplied the rockets.
Iran, right?
Yes. Iran supplied the rockets.
Hamas just is
Why?
the puppy.
Why?
No,
Hamas is a soldier.
works for the British
Hamas is a
government.
soldier. Hamas is a
I know
soldier.
this for sure.
It's a soldier.
How can you claim? How can you claim that there's if you're in a position where you're sitting there in Israel, okay, right? And Israel, I'm not defending Israel all that they've done.
Okay.
I'm not
Yes, you
defending
are.
it.
Yes, you are defending it.
No, I'm not.
Let me say.
One can truly say. However, my question would be this: if you're sitting in a position where you're constantly thinking to yourself, "I'm going to get rockets fired at me," okay, right? I'm going to constantly get have to go into bunkers and sort of bomb shelters because somebody somewhere over the border is going to fire rockets at me. Then
Yeah,
what is
let
that
me
going to do?
repeat. What's your question? Why is a proxy war? Gaza war is a
So
proxy war.
who? Who's behind? So you're saying that Hamas
I tell you that Hamas, behind the Hamas is Iran. Behind Iran is China. Okay, understand? Behind Israel,
I don't disagree
behind
with
the Israel is the United States. There's two groups fighting each other. Do you understand that? And why they have the war in the Gaza? Because Gaza is a gift to Israel. And Israel gets the Gaza land, they will go to the United States, lobby United States government, reduce the weapon and financial support to the Ukraine wars. And they want give, the Russia want annex Eastern Ukraine.
So let's
And that is become the independent two countries. Maybe. Do you understand that's the logic?
Let's develop your
Your
logic.
logic
Let me
is
develop
a
your logic.
middleman is between United States and China.
Let me
Is
develop.
middleman is Israel. Why Israel? Israel is very powerful. They have the both very good relationship with both sides.
Just let me develop your logic here, okay?
Yeah.
Let us suppose for one moment, all right, that Hamas is ended in sort of Gaza.
Why they have an election?
And I say to you again, the real victims here, okay, right, are the Palestinian people under Hamas and poor leadership, bad leadership in terms of subverting the money which was given to Palestine for other ends, for military purposes. That is the truth. Now, let's just suppose that tomorrow, or today, please God, okay, that somebody says, let's have peace, right? Let's not start firing rockets at each other. Okay, right? I'm making the question here, okay? So, the question would be, what then? What guarantee would Israel have, okay, that peace would last? And I would suggest to you,
The outcome, the result is yes, tell me,
They won't go into the West Bank and make more settlements.
the result is Gaza was taken by Israel, and Russia will take Eastern Ukraine.
Never mind all that. Talk
That's
about Taiwan.
overs.
we
That's
really want
overs.
to
And the next one is China will invade
why should the
Taiwan.
Ukrainians, why should the Ukrainians accede to this wonderful idea of yours? Why should the Ukrainians
It's not my idea. That's a two big military problem. NATO and China leads the alliance of the China, Russia, Iran. They have the two military groups fighting each other.
but if I
they swap that. It's not I make the ideas. It's the United States and China makes that.
Oil though, doesn't it, from Russia?
Yeah.
The cheap oil from Russia.
Yeah,
China wants.
yeah.
That's the only reason they're back in Russia.
You know, the Europe stopped buying the oil and gas from the Russia, and they sell most of the oil and gas to China. So if now is I think that's half, even 60% of the oil go to China.
The real question is actually around China.
Yeah. So that's a big boss for Russia and Iran is China.
The real question is about China, because you see, China, it has a policy generally. If you actually look at Africa, say, right, it goes to Africa, it builds infrastructure. Right? I've been in Western Africa. I've been into Syria, and I've seen masses of Chinese construction workers. They build roads, they build bridges, they build schools, they build whatever. Okay, right? But what they do, they don't want money. Okay, right? They know that these poor countries don't have the money. So what they say is, what we really want, okay, is your materials, your resources, wealth. Okay?
At least they build something.
Yes, it's the
They don't
same.
steal it like the.
That's because that's the African countries. The African country, they don't have the money. They don't have the United States dollars. They don't have the UK pounds. They don't have the money. They swap what they build the roads.
This
They
gentleman
build
here,
the railways.
this gentleman says at least
For
they build
what?
it. Well, the
For
truth
what?
is, it lasts for a few years.
For
And then
minerals.
it lasts for a few years.
You're right.
It
You're
lasts for a
right.
few years. The Chinese roads that they build last for a very short time. After a while, okay, right?
Why is
they
that your
build-
concern? Why don't you just?
So the argument would be longer term.
Africa, they don't have too much money on the United States, the international currencies. So if China build the roads for the African countries, they build the railways for African countries.
Very good.
They ask for the minerals return,
They
the
tell you
oil
it's
and gas,
return, absolutely,
Angolas. Yeah, they got a lot of the oil from the south.
That's right, that's
Angola.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
China is doing
Yes,
very
you're
well in
right.
Africa.
Yes, it's the same.
But,
Yes.
but then
Well,
what
what's
it
your
leaves,
point?
but then what it leaves actually in that position, it's a form of colonialism because the materials
Oh,
are
you
taken.
have the audacity to talk about.
Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes,
But why
I
don't you
do.
leave it to them to decide?
I have the audacity. I have the audacity to talk about colonialism. Okay, right? Because you don't even know what I believe about colonialism. You're just jumping in there. You're just jumping in there. So, but in terms of the sort of Chinese government, they go into these places, they take the resources, and it leaves a sense of colonialism because those countries no longer have the long-term control over their own future. So instead of having an empire,
Did I hear you right? Did I hear you right? I'm an African. Okay? I'm an African. I rather stay with the Chinese than somebody who comes with a gun and took my wife and my resources. Two different things. Chinese colonialism, totally different from Western colonialism. How's it different? I'll tell you how it is different. I was given the choice by the Chinese. The Chinaman comes with his money and said, I want that. It's left for me to say, okay, I take the money from you.
What happens
What-
if you
what
say
happens
no? What happens if you say no? What happens if you say no?
Let me finish. Let me finish. But the Western colonialism came with a gun.
Yes, what happens if you say no to Mr. China
If you
Colonial?
said no to Mr. China, he goes. It doesn't bother you.
Ask him, all right,
No,
okay.
tell me.
Ask a Uyghur Muslim if he says, okay, fine. I'll
You
leave it.
name me one country Chinese invaded.
In Africa.
Tibet and India.
Where?
Vietnam. They invaded Vietnam.
You're very good in geography. You're very good in geography.
They have invaded.
Okay, on a serious note, there is a difference between Chinese colonialism and Western colonialism. The Chinaman gives you the option to say yes. If you're corrupt, then you swallow what we call, what do you call it? What is it? Forgotten the expression now. If you are greedy, if you are corrupt, then you fall a victim. That's different.
Africa is very important,
That's
but
different. That's different from the colonial system. All right? The Chinaman, a lot of African
I don't think Chinaman's the politically correct term. Somehow you can't
Okay,
keep on saying that
okay.
Chinaman does this.
yeah.
There must be more politically correct
Ladies
term.
and gentlemen, today we
I'm
talk
not saying I
about
disagree.
we talk about the finish.
Okay.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Any questions?
Speaker, I heard you sometime mention
He's trying to end on
China want to invade Taiwan.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not in Africa.
Wait a second.
He did that last time.
Are you saying to me Taiwan is not China.
No.
And
Careful how
then,
you
if
word
Taiwan is not China, how come Falkland, 6,000 miles away, is British? It's fucking big there. It's like the Somerset.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
In China, traditionally, China,
They got a
government,
sparks
the
on
power
the Falkland Islands.
is not come from the
It's like going to Croydon.
It's not come from the
Chinese
God.
government
The
moved to
Chinese
Taiwan.
government power is come from the force. The most of the power is come from the force. If you conquer whole the China, you are the only one legal government for the whole China. But Taiwan government, previously they are nationalist government. They are the legal government for whole China. You know, the Republic of China. And now Beijing government is People's Republic of China. There's a communism in China. There are two China exist. Okay. If you want to be the legal government of China, you must finish the previous one. Okay, sorry. I will talk about the next week.
All right.
I have the GoPro. Thank you.
All right, well done, Alan. Well done. Got a good, lively bit of stuff going on there. A bit too lively sometimes, but you know, better than.